Hello, guys. I'm your host, Natalie Ava Nasr. I actually hosted the second episode of That's All Folks, and I just butchered the name, and I'm hosting That's All Folks. I had to actually practice that a few times before coming over here, and I still butchered it. Anyways, I forgot to introduce myself as the host on the second episode, but for those of you guys who listened to the first episode, you would have already heard a little bit about me and my background. For those of you who haven't watched the first episode, I'm Natalie Ava Nasr, like I said, and I am a writer, actor, and filmmaker based in London. I'm half Danish, half Lebanese, and I now have a wonderful co-host. A wonderful Coco. I actually had a dog named Coco, so that would be nice if she was here, but she's no longer with us, unfortunately. But no, I have a wonderful co-host, and I'll let Maggie introduce herself.
Maybe I remind you of your dog, Coco.
Maybe you do. Yeah, maybe not. Actually, she was a Yorkshire Terrier.
Oh, was she? Okay, no, then I'd rather not. So I'm Maggie Razavi. I'm a filmmaker, theater maker, entrepreneur, such a buzzword. And so I suppose I would call myself an artist. I write, direct, sometimes produce.
Yes. So Maggie and I actually met each other. How did we meet each other? We met each other at the play. I was in a play at the Playground Theatre, and Maggie was a social media marketer, one of her many trades. And we met and we hit it off because we're both half Middle Eastern, half Scandinavian, and we were like sisters from another mister. So
exactly.
Then we became friends, and then I was like, do this podcast with me, and she was like, yes. And
yeah,
that's why we're here.
And we discovered our love for the same stand-up comedian as well.
Oh my gosh.
We go to all his shows in London.
He probably thinks that we're a stalker.
Yeah.
His name is Double Dutch, and he's wonderful.
Derek Scott Mitchell.
Yeah. His Double Dutch is his Dutch show.
Yeah.
But we don't have to go into that for now. We are actually here for another reason, and that is to introduce our wonderful guests, who you can see on camera.
Hello.
So, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but why don't we start with you, Kitch, firstly? What a name. That's your artist's name.
That was actually the first name I was ever called, because I was born in my kitchen and my parents didn't know what to call me. So my neighbour, I think, said, I'm calling Kitch. And it just stuck.
That's wonderful.
So it's like my first name / stage name. I don't like the word, like the phrase stage name, because it's almost seems some more like made up. But I've been called Kitch for my whole life. When I started rapping, everyone already knew me as Kitch, so I thought, yeah, it's Kitch.
It's such a good name. And what a wonderful story as well. And Isaac?
Yes, so I'm...
Also a cool name.
Double A, 1S. So yeah, I'm a disability advocate, content creator, adrenaline junkie. I'm sure we'll speak about the crazy things that I got up to later. And I think I'm going to also use the buzzword as entrepreneur, because I've started my own business recently.
Nice. Okay, well, yeah, I'll let Maggie ask the first question, Isaac, because we've got so many.
So actually, we can start with the vlogging, because, as you mentioned as well, it would be interesting to hear more about, how that came about, your journey that way, because I understand that is how you got started, pretty much.
Yeah, so when I was in school, before school, I've always had a creative mind, and I've always liked different ways of being able to express that creativity. So it first started my content creation days playing video games, and I was also a huge wrestling fan. And with the older wrestling games, there was a inbuilt video creator. So, and the game had a lot of glitches. So I would kind of do funny moments and then kind of put them up onto YouTube. So that kind of started my way of just being a bit creative. And then for my A-levels, I did media studies, kind of fell in love with the video editing and being able to be, once again, creative in that way. And from that point, I knew I wasn't going to do the 9 to 5. I was like, I need to do my own thing. I need to be creative. And when I left school, I was given a GoPro for Christmas through a filmmaker who was filming me for a charity that I was being a part of called the Dream Factory, and they grant dreams for underprivileged children, and they were filming their 3-yearly promo video. So I was in there and I was saying, I'd really like to get into film and video. And then out of nowhere, that filmmaker gave me a GoPro for Christmas. And then that kind of started my vlogging journey, filming the different adventures that I would get on. And
okay, wait, can we hear a little bit about those adventures?
Yeah.
I read that you went traveling, that you went sailing and like skydiving.
Yeah.
All of this stuff.
Yeah.
So can you just tell us a little bit about those travel trips?
yeah, I mean, you've kind of ticked off most of them there. But yeah, so I've done skiing, skydiving, tall ship sailing, traveled to America, places in Europe, places in the UK as well. And I would just film my different things that I would get up to. And I just loved creating videos and having loads of funny moments and keeping in bloopers in the videos because, everyone loves a bit of blooper.
Yep.
And I just kept on filming those adventures, but I'd never really speak about disability in those videos because I never really saw why should I talk about disability. And friends and family who were following my journey kept saying, you should really talk about disability. You can change people's perspectives. I thought, why do I have to do that for? It didn't really make any sense to me. But then, so they kept telling me, I kept on ignoring them until I was given an opportunity to talk about my life and the obstacles that I faced, but I can still have a fulfilling life. And after I'd finished that talk, someone came up to me afterwards and basically said, I'm always complaining about life and I have all this pain, but after hearing your story, it's changed my perspective on things. And that was kind of the first time it kind of clicked with me outside the friend and family group and the impact I was making. So that's when I started implementing disability into my content, and then advocacy through that way started in 2021 when I joined LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it about that presentation that you made that was so inspiring?
Yeah, so I was talking about such things as I have to do a lot of planning because it's not just easy for me to go out and get somewhere, having to have some support with me, because if I'm day trips or going abroad, I need someone to support me. So a friend and family member would have to come with me, many hours having to do all of this planning. And if that doesn't work, I have to think of like plan A to Z and all these different things that you have to think ahead of time. And then from that, I could still have a very fulfilling life, like skydiving and skiing and all of these different things that I've been able to get up to.
What was your favorite out of all these adventures and everything you've done, all the adrenaline junkie?
Good question.
Yeah.
It has to be being on this podcast right now.
Oh,
I don't know if I would consider this like an adrenaline junkie journey.
we have Sex Pistols recorded in here. And no, hear you guys.
Adrenaline in me right now.
I guess it has to be skiing. I've been something I never thought I'd ever do, but what made the last time skiing was really cool was I got to control it with my feet. So before it was someone controlling the ski, but this one was fully remote control and I could control it all myself independently. So I thought, that was quite cool.
Where were you doing that?
That was in Colorado.
Cool.
Oh, Colorado, what a place. Was it in Boulder?
Winter Park.
Okay. Nice. I've never been to Colorado. And you went skydiving in Ohio, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So just a quick question on all of your journeys with your vlogging. Who funded this? How was that? How did that work? Was it the Dream Factory that funded all of your travel trips that you could vlog?
No, it's kind of all self-funded through the different money that I would get from having a disability, kind of saving up and being able to use that. Because even though I did YouTube for about 7 years, I never really made I didn't make any money from it because I never ended up getting a lot of subscribers and followers to be able to reach that milestone of being able to be paid. So I never really got paid from YouTube, and it was all kind of self-funded. Or it was through like opportunities through other people. So like sailing was through a charity, and they allowed me to go on to take part in that. But mostly it's when it's flying abroad and stuff, it's all my money.
Where were you sailing? Which part of the world?
So it's not very exciting when I say it, but it was from Cardiff to Bristol.
Okay.
That's exciting.
So that was 4-day out into the sea and then back again.
Yeah.
And then I went from Portsmouth to Cannes in France. And that was a 7-day trip back and forth.
Nice. Did you go to the festival as well? Was it during that time?
No.
No. Okay.
No,
that's for another time.
No, Cannes.
Con?
Yeah, CAEN.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm such an actor. I'm
A
like,
different
con
one.
festival. A different. There's other cons, Natalie. Okay. Last question on this before we move over to Kitch. Because obviously this takes, from what you're saying, it just sounds like you're a very curious person. So I just want to hear, like, where did the curiosity stem from? Do you think you've always been a curious person to try out all of these things, or was there something that happened and you were like, and it sort of, it sprung this curiosity and you kind of just wanted to go at it?
It's a good question. I think it's because of all the barriers that I faced with my disability and having to think of new ways of doing things. It's kind of allowed me to come out of my comfort zone and to be curious and see life in a totally different light from everybody else. So I think from my disability, I've gained that curiosity.
Lovely. Thanks, Isaac.
No problem.
Kitch.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I was getting away with not having to.
Now you're in the hot seat.
But now you're in the hot seat, Kitch. Yeah. Well, Kitch, you are a rapper, an engineer, a sound engineer, a musician. How would you define yourself?
How would I? Because I hate having to see when you meet someone and it's what do you do? It's just like if I say everything, I'll look as if I'm like on my own arse or something. So I was like, I'm an artist, and in its broadest terms, take what you want from it. But if we're actually being serious, I would say first and foremost, I'm a rapper. Because all the sound engineering and the production stuff and the studio stuff, I've learned to then help my artistic journey, if it makes sense. So the number one priority has always been rapping.
Okay. So a rapper, Kitch. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to be clear about it,
No problem.
Thanks.
So someone who grew up on a lot of rap, mainly from the US, because I didn't grow up in the UK.
Same, to be fair, though.
I wanted to ask, who your inspirations are, and also, I read somewhere you call yourself a lyricist, which not that many rappers do today,
These days,
and
yeah.
it's more of an old school term. So it'd be great to pick your brain on that.
Early inspirations. Although I know I'm from East London, where that grime started, it didn't really become big enough to sort of catch my attention at a young age, because I was on like YouTube and like MTV and all that, and I saw like 50 Cents and the Nas's, and then when I got into sort of hip hop, I remember I always loved listening to Eminem, because he would reference other artists who then he got inspired from. So then he spoke about Dre, and then when I look into Dre, and then find NWA, and then find Ice Cube, and it was sort of a hip hop family tree where I just loved sort of like researching. I would buy the albums off like eBay for like £3 each, and then sort of like read all the books and stuff.
I used to do that.
Yeah. So it's like so like from a young age, I just fell in love with the whole like hip hop origins. It's like when I speak to sort of like 50, 40-year-olds, and I can reference the same songs they can, and they always say to me, "How do you know so much?" But it's like I loved hip hop from a really young age, and I was just like so obsessed with everything about it.
Did you also because you're a producer as well, right? So you make beats and or what's the production side? Yeah.
But it's more so so I can't really play many sort of instruments, but it's more so like chopping up a sample or like I'm creating a drum loop, or even being a executive producer where I in a session with a musician and I say, rather than playing that chord, take it down a bit, and I play like, so although I'm not the one hands-on doing it, I'm sort of the brain behind it.
I have a friend who does that. She doesn't play instruments either, and she's a musician, and she kind of uses like sound engineering to make the sounds and stuff. And I think such a brilliant tool nowadays that you're able to do that, because I don't think that was always accessible to people in the past. That's quite a new sort of technology. I saw the documentary that sort of talks about your journey, Phoenix, which is directed by Timur Bakir, who I mentioned that I'd also worked with. He's a wonderful director and amazing guy. And I loved that documentary and your whole story, your journey from A to C. But obviously our listeners, some people in this room don't know about that journey. So can you just like talk a little bit about, how you got into rapping and that sort of journey into it?
Sure. So as I said, I always loved hip hop, but I wasn't always able to rap. So I was born with a speech impediment, and literally since birth. I remember my parents only finding out when I started school, and the teacher said he is seriously behind in his speech. So then I went to speech therapy all throughout my childhood. I think I stopped when I was like 14, because I was just like, I've been doing this for like 10 years. It's not helping be a soul. So I had quite a bad stammer, which meant I was never expressing myself verbally. I would do it physically because of all the sort of frustration. I would just punch walls, or then I learned punching walls hurt. So I punched people instead.
Did that not hurt?
Not as much.
A little softer on the
exactly. Squishier.
Depends where you punch them, I guess, as well. You should have just kicked things. I feel like that's way more.
But so how do all this sort of like built up frustration? So I just get into a lot of fights. So if someone, school playground, everyone's sort of like making jokes at people, blah blah. Someone says to me, "Oh, your mum," I can't say it back to them, so I just hit them instead.
Easy, why not?
And I suppose in the sense that's you trying to overcome obstacles in a way, but in a misguided way. So now that you've matured, worked through a few things, how do you overcome obstacles today? What's your approach today, rather than punching a wall or a person?
I would say writing now.
Yeah.
So when I was like 16, back to the original story, is I had a counselor who gave me a notebook and said, when you get angry, rather than hitting someone, write it down.
We love that counselor.
100%.
Snaps that 100%. Counselor.
And where I loved hip hop so much, I just start to rhyme. So my sort of emotions without the idea of sort of becoming a rapper, but it's truly to sort of like help vent. And then after sort of a few years, I found myself getting better and better. But then even now, it's how I process a lot of things. It's just writing a song about it. Not to ever pull it out, but just so like it's a way for me to fully understand the situation, how I handled it, blah blah blah.
And do you feel like writing it down and then rapping helps you express yourself as well? What happens when you're rapping? Like, do you feel like you're able to just like fully express yourself through that form?
So
don't worry, I won't ask you to rap for us, even though I want to.
I was going to say, so if you ask me to rap now or to freestyle now, I will probably still stammer. So it has to be a sort of a set lyrics to a set rhythm to a set beat for me to actually process it. And I need to practice it sort of a few times, because even now, when I first writing a song, I was still sort of stammer in the early stages. But it's about the repetition, which then leads to the fluency.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And also, I wanted to ask Isaac a few questions as well, because he is truly a Renaissance man. Obviously, as we've already discovered with the vlogging, the traveling. Also, you received an MBE last
also
year.
steps to that.
Yeah, which is incredible. And, before the age of 30, which is a huge achievement. Most people don't get one in their lifetime.
And fun fact, not many people know this, but I did a little bit of rapping as well.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah. Do we even have a wrap up? We don't have a wrap up.
No, Kitch wins, what?
Guys, we need to.
a year from now, they're going to sit front together.
We're gonna wrap this up with a rap battle.
Yeah, 2018, I was just really creative.
Okay.
So, I just delved into it for a little bit. But I don't do it now, but yeah, did a little bit.
Nice.
Okay, so another thing that you...
Yeah.
Take.
Another thing.
Yeah, sorry.
So it would be interesting to hear more about that, because that's obviously it's a huge achievement, and it's quite recent as well. So can you remember where you were when you got the news, and how did it make you feel?
So this is the MBE story. It was just a regular day, like most days. And,
Not a day you were rapping.
No, I wasn't rapping actually. No, I'd retired by then. No, it was during the day, and I just got an email through saying that you've been asked if you would like to receive an MBE.
I love that they ask you, would you like to receive one? Actually, I don't feel like it. Nah.
Some people say no.
Not because of its history.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the history, but we don't have to get into
That's why. So I got the email, and of course, if you get an email like that, you think it's spam. You don't want to believe it. But after I looked at the sender, it was from a .gov email, so I knew it was legit. And I did. And then I told my mum about it, even though I wasn't meant to tell anyone, but I knew mum wouldn't say anything. So I ended up telling her, and then we spoke a little bit about it, and I then accepted it, but I wasn't allowed to say anything for a whole month. So this was in November 22, and I wasn't able to say anything for a whole month until it was announced on the King's Honours List. So I knew it was going to come out on the 1st of the year, so I thought, okay, I'm all prepared for that. Then 31st came round, and I got messages from a couple of people saying, oh, congratulations, really good to see you on the list. Well, how do you know this? It's meant to be out tomorrow, but they actually released it on the 31st. So I had to quickly think, oh, if it's out there, I'll go write a post about it and all that. Wasn't prepared. I was ready for the next day, like a New Year post, but yeah, just wasn't ready at all. Yeah, and a lot of people were congratulating me when I did bring out the news. But because of COVID, there was a huge waiting list. So I was on the waiting list of 800 people waiting to receive an award. So I ended up being invited to Buckingham Palace in November last year. That's it. Yeah, I went to Buckingham Palace, where I was awarded it by the King himself.
So wait, can we hear about like what like why you were awarded it? What specifically?
Yeah, so it was through my disability advocacy work and all the public speaking and all I do within that world.
And is Seated Perspective, so that's a new-ish venture of yours, so it's that part of that as well, and could you tell us a bit more about that too?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's all in one really, and like the Wheels and Wheelchairs as well that I'm a part of. But
yeah, you're president of Wheels.
Yes.
I'm a part of. You're president, Isaac.
Okay.
Excuse you.
I don't like to feed my ego too much.
That's what we're here for.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. At least I don't need to do it. So yeah, Seated Perspectives was an idea through me and another disability advocate where we found there was a lot of places which do really good accessibility, like hotels and venues, but they don't really shout about it. Like they have all these great features, but they don't really say to the world, oh yes, we have all of these that people with disabilities can come and experience. So we thought, I'm a filmmaker, do videos, and my friend who's really good in front of the camera, we thought we'd kind of do a combination together, and that's how like Seated Perspectives came about, like the perspective of a wheelchair user going around and experiencing places. But we've only created one video and hoping to do more in the future.
Do you have any like particular ways or particular places in London? Any favorite routes? Because I bet you've explored a lot of London as well through the work that you do.
So through traveling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point because when I was younger and growing up, it was a time where I couldn't even get on the bus because there were steps onto the bus. So I had to literally get taxis everywhere. And I was yes, yeah. And that was my way of getting around places because I just wasn't able to get on the bus. And even getting on the train, you have to let them know 48 hours in advance, but sometimes you don't know if you're going to be traveling 48 hours in advance, and not all stations were accessible as they are now. So doing that through taxis was kind of like my way of getting around. And then I must have been about 11, 12 when I started using the bus. And I went on the bus when they got more accessible. And I remember getting on the bus for the first time, and I was absolutely terrified because I was like, "This is so new. I don't like it."
I mean, it's a terrifying experience anytime.
Yeah.
I don't mind it now, but yeah, it was really scary. And what made it even worse is my wheelchair back then didn't have much tread on the wheels. So as the bus would move, my chair would slide all over the place. I was like, "No, don't like this. I'm never getting on the bus again."
You're like, I'm not an adrenaline junkie just yet. I don't need the adrenaline just yet.
Absolutely.
So skydiving, yes, bus, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly. Now we know what I think.
Yeah. But yeah, my mum and family just made sure I really went on the bus, and that has helped me nowadays because now I can travel independently. The Elizabeth line's really good now. So being able to travel into London from where I live in under 30 minutes is great. So, yeah, it's kind of opened a lot of doors, accessibility and traveling.
I feel like you both have quite positive outlooks, just in general and in life and in the work that you do. And obviously have taken, personal challenges and sort of looked at those as opportunities to grow, which I think is really difficult for a lot of people to do. And I'm just curious to understand, like, where that stems from. Have you always had that sort of inner strength and positivity, or is that something that sort of came about, later in life?
I'll let you go first.
Big question.
I feel like I feel like once everyone finds their passion, if you're truly passionate about something, regardless of what's in the way, you're going to find a way around it. And where for me, I loved rap all my life, and then I realized I'm getting better at this. I'm not sure if it's actually if it's just a confidence thing or what, but it's helping my everyday speech. I find it fun, and it's helping me vent. So it was really, I found something for the first time that I really loved, and then seeing how sort of fast it grew. It was like, okay, this could actually work. And now if I'm not doing anything music related for a few hours, I get so agitated. So there's a proper drive there. But again, I don't think it's sort of specific for my situation. It's just about having that drive, having that passion towards your goal.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I think you can too. I mean, I think we all can. Just passion. It's almost like a circular thing, right? You're passionate about something, gives you confidence, and then the better you get at it, the more confidence you get, and it's just...
And trial and error as well is so important.
Yeah.
I think anything you do that's artistic, some people will come to me and they're like, would you not like recommend becoming an artist, or like what tips do you have for someone who wants to be an artist? And I was like, don't. If you have to ask, you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
I guess it takes a lot, I think, to also... Being an artist is like being an entrepreneur. You have to really dedicate the time and consistency. So if you're not ready to do that, it's not for you. So,
and there's like so many different parts involved, which I didn't even think about when I was writing in my notepad. It was like there's the merch side, there's a studio time side, then the mixing, the mastering, the beat production, the leases, the shows. It just, I think, wow. It's bare stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all falling on me. Yeah. I've not got a team of no manager, no like the booking agent. It's just all me. And now the content with social media stuff is just so there's a lot in it. Yeah. So if you're not passionate, you're just going to sink quick.
100%. Yeah, you have to love it. You have to love it to be an entrepreneur, to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
we all
100%.
are.
Yeah. Would you say it's the same for you? Also, that passion that sort of like drives you.
It's funny because technically I've always had it, but I didn't know it. So growing up, disability, and people around me have always kind of treated me the same, and they've always pushed me to be the best version of myself. And because of that, of having to overcome challenges and the support I've had, I've always just wanted to get up and do things. But I also had a journey with my mental health, where I became quite blinded by my successes and what I was able to achieve, because back when I left school, I wanted to be an influencer and this YouTuber with million subscribers and really successful, and people I followed were in relationships. And I thought that's how you were happy in life. Mm-hmm. So even though I was, doing skydiving and skiing and all these, internally I wasn't happy. And I just thought, to be happy in life, I need to really have these societal things that people have, like, oh, that's happiness. And whenever I never had it, I just would always feel down and not feel great. So it just got to a breaking point where kind of everything came at once. And that's when I decided, okay, I really need to learn about this. And that's when I took a step back and wanted to learn about my well-being and mental health. Because for ages, I would say, oh yeah, I'm all right now. I understand it. But actually, I was just saying words. I wasn't really putting action in. So after that, learning about it and meditation and well-being and self-awareness, all of these different core values, that we should really be taking into account, made me then realize that, my disability has always been my biggest strength. And now with my mental health being where it is, they both came together. So, so like I said, I feel I've always had that drive and passion because of the people around me, but for ages, I just didn't know I had it.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a fine line, isn't it? Like passion and this idea of success that society makes you think you need to be happiness. I mean, I can 100% relate to that as well. It's like when you have it, you're actually, or you realize, oh, am I happy or not? Because actually what you said earlier about like mental health and mindfulness and meditation, it's like if you've got those things in check, if you're talking to a counselor, if you're going to think through things with passion, then you're actually happy, versus driving at something that society's telling you will make you happy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think also with artistry in particular, the road can be long and very, convoluted at times, right? So you have to really love it. And I think, I relate to what you were saying. I'm, among other things, a meditation teacher as well now. So I've had my own journey with, spirituality and mental health, etc. And I think, the purpose in life is whatever you make of it. You have to find what you love and allow yourself to play with that and have a playfulness to it as well. Because I think if you're so focused on a specific outcome, you really forget to live in the now and all the things that we're all doing, together or respectively. I think we have to have fun while we're doing them as well, because otherwise they'll drive us crazy. So
yeah.
Because once I had that internal feeling of I guess you could say inner peace, that's when I saw success. Like that's where I actually started.
Where you recognized it almost.
Yeah. That's when I started to recognize the success that I was having and the things that I was doing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like you're actually successful. You just don't realize it because you're looking for the next step up. And if you're not actually grateful for what you have in the here and now, you're never going to be happy.
You don't live in the present. You live in, over there, maybe sometimes back there.
Exactly.
I'm still there now. I think I'm always like on to the next one, like on to the next one, to the next one.
But would you say that you're proud of yourself and the achievements that you've made so far in your life?
Yeah, but there's more to be done.
Of course, but that's drive. That's drive. Yeah. Well, what inspires or informs your music mostly?
So it started off as a form of therapy. So sort of made a lot of emotional songs, if that's anger, sad, heartbreak, or whatever, blah blah. It was just sort of about that. But now these days, I try to write from so it's not just me. Sort of I try to make sort of like the feel good songs. Try to like showcase a skill as well, because I feel like a lot of rap is that braggadocious, I'm better than you, and so like you always gotta show that side. So it's like cool. I can make a sort of a catchy summer song, but I'm still one of the best rappers, and then here and there I allow myself to get vulnerable, because I feel like I've made songs where I love it because I know where it's sort of coming from, but sort of showing everyone else, it's like I don't care that much about you to play this song. I started on a sort of fine line between using music as a form of therapy, but also something that other people want to listen to.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, now we've come to a point where you're releasing your EP, mm-hmm. and all these experiences has obviously shaped that. But it'd be great to understand what the main themes are, your favorite track,
Yeah.
why that is your favorite track.
Okay, cool. So the EP is called Highest Value. And it has a few sort of meanings or sort of ideas that are explained throughout the project. The last line in the intro song is, if you can't withstand the pain, you don't value it. So it's like I'm saying, rap is my highest value. I can get told no 1,000 times. I can do a show where there's like 2 people in the crowd. I can record 100 times and no takes are working. But because I value this so highly, I'm not gonna let that faze me. It's like when a woman has a child, she don't care about anything else apart from that child, because she values it so highly. And there's things that people think that they value or that they don't value, but they actually are doing too much for something that's not valuable enough for them, if that makes sense. 100%. And so it sort of explores outside the value system amongst making songs that are like head knockers and all that.
Yeah, you got to have a few of those. It's a balance.
And you can have both.
Yeah.
You can have a great song that's still very interesting.
Yeah, true. And honestly, I will probably like all the vulnerable songs, because I'll be like, getting me in my fields, you know?
And there's one song, so the outro, it was originally me just rapping over the piano chords for like 2.5 minutes. And they're like, you can't release this, bro. I'm like, it's just me and chords, so I'm like a ballad or something. It's just like, bro, you're rapping over chords. So we had to sort of like beef it up, add a second verse at the end where the beat actually drops and blah, blah. So I do have both.
Okay, nice. And what's next for you, Isaac?
I mean, yeah, started a new business. I am Isaac Harvey. Again, the ego's not. Just let you go for it.
Ego. Hey, we've all got to sell yourself.
Yes.
You know?
But yeah, I think it's putting everything I do under a professional umbrella. So it's like the public speaking, the content creation, the video editing, the traveling, the city perspective. So all of it's kind of coming under one umbrella. And now I feel a little more comfortable in asking for payment, because I find it a bit uncomfortable doing it for myself. But if I say, I'm doing it for my business, I think I feel a lot better.
That's fascinating. Mm-hmm. I totally resonate with that. I think a lot of artists do.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
And I want to try and get into doing more of my own content again, because now I do mainly freelance. The advocacy is my own lived experience, but I want to get more creative with my own content again. Just don't have the time. It's very difficult.
Too little time. Do we want to go to our final 4?
Yeah.
Should we do our final? Do you want to?
Let's do it.
Do you want to hit it off, guys? These are our final 4 questions. You guys have to answer them in one sentence.
Oh my God,
Okay, sure.
Okay.
At least we're not making you do it in one word. But okay, so we're gonna go.
I think we should start doing that instead. Just make it really tricky.
Maybe not this time.
No, not
these are like not one word. But I mean, we could. If you could answer it in one word, feel free.
Okay.
As short as possible.
As short as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Should I? Do you want to?
I'll start. Yeah.
Head.
So I'll ask you both. So you can Kitch, you can start, and then we'll go to you, Isaac.
Okay.
So if you can be remembered for one thing, one thing only, in this lifetime, what would it be?
Rapping.
Okay.
Isaac?
Isaac, I love that. Isaac.
Yeah, because I think it's all rounded.
Yeah.
Like I do quite a lot of different things.
The Renaissance man.
Yeah, actually, let's go with my mental health journey.
Your mental health journey. Love that.
Yeah, let's go with that. Not Isaac.
It's part of Isaac.
Yeah,
It
but,
is Isaac. Yeah.
but yeah, my mental health journey.
Nice. I actually realized that we did ask you, because the next question is what's next for you, but we did just ask you guys that. Yeah. So instead, we're going to skip to where do you see yourself in 5 years? Kitch?
Best rapper in the UK.
Yes, let's go. You'll definitely be on top of my Spotify playlist.
I'm bringing back the more introspective sound.
Yeah.
100% like it.
I see myself doing more impact, but behind the scenes, kind of like not having to always make a social media post about it. I want to make real, genuine, long-term impact.
I know that this is just one-worded answers, but can I just unpack that a little bit more?
Yeah.
I'm so curious. So what kind of, like, can you give us an example of a type of impact that you'd want to make that's behind the scenes?
Kind of supporting people or getting people to realize their fullest potential in being able to, if they put their mind to it, they can achieve. May that be a person with a disability or not. I just think trying to get people to really be their best selves, I think, is worth a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
And then I was going to say, expanding to not just one word. So longer answers. Because, you both have achieved so much and you're both very impressive people. So it'd be great to understand, if someone came to you and they struggled to express themselves in whatever way, for whatever reason, what advice would you give them in order for them to open up and live their truth?
So I've actually had this happen a few times when I'm going around schools and stuff. And there'll be a kid who also stammers. And what I say to him is just find what works for you. So, for example, speech therapy didn't work for me, but the music did. It's not going to be the same for everyone. So you got to find what really gets you out of bed in the morning, what really focuses you, makes you happy. A lot of people want to sort of like advise you, but the truth is, if you don't know what it's like to sort of have a stammer, don't get involved, because it's a lot to comprehend. And so if you just find what makes you happy and what drives you, then no one will be able to then take that away from you, because your power, that's turned your setback into a positive.
I love that. Yeah. Good advice. I'll take that advice. Steal it. Yeah. Put it in my pocket.
I can't beat that. Nah.
And we're wrapped. Back to the rap battle.
I think going on from what you've just said there, I think it's making people realize it's a journey rather than an end destination. And as you say, finding their own path in life and realizing, you got to live your life, because who else is going to do it for you? Kind of got to see yourself as you. And as you said, finding their own ways of what drives them, what helps them, because it's so different to my journey compared to everybody else's. We've got to see what works for us and stick with it.
Yeah. I mean, waking up, following your passion, following that drive. I think we can all relate to that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's all a matter of self-awareness, right? If you're self-aware and you recognize your passion, then there's nothing stopping you.
100%. I mean, we humans, we are unstoppable. Superhumans.
Absolutely. If you put your mind to it.
Renaissance people.
Renaissance people. That's what this episode should be called. The Renaissance people. And to the rap battle? No.
Next episode.
All right, you got it. Well, no, but truly, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been wonderful chatting with you both. Yeah,
super inspirational.
Yeah, very inspirational.
Definitely.
I want to be listening to this on repeat or going past my own voice just to listen to it. But yeah, thank you guys as well to all of the listeners out there, or viewers, or however you listen or watch your podcasts. Yeah, final last words, Maggie?
Yeah, it's been great to join That's All Folks as co-host with the lovely Nat, and it's absolutely wonderful to meet the both of you. Super inspirational. And
yeah, you can also check out both Isaac and Kitch's websites, social medias. They're going to be there in the bios, so please take a look at those things, because
highest value
absolutely EP out soon. I mean, Isaac is me. Isaac me. What was your website called?
I am Isaac Harvey.
I am Isaac Harvey. I got it the third time's the charm.
We need to secure isaac.com for you.
Oh, we do. Yeah. Copyright it now. Put it down. Yeah. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you at the next episode.